The 2025 season is almost here, and the Georgia Bulldogs start fall camp later this week. Of course, there are several big-time questions that I think the Dogs have to answer this fall, as they are just 1 month away from the season, basically. So lots of questions surrounding this team, lots of new faces, a lot of position groups up for grabs, right? And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. We're going to start in the secondary. Everyone knows that Georgia has to replace Malachi Starks and Dan Jackson, two of the best defenders and overall players on the roster last year. They've got Dalen Everett locking down one of the cornerback spots. They've got KJ Bolden at safety. But I think the other cornerback spot is still up for grabs. We saw Daniel Harris be that guy down the stretch last year, and he was fine, but there's still room for improvement. And I do think Georgia could get better there if Ellis Robinson takes a bigger progression and keeps improving. He was a 5-star prospect out of high school for a reason. Top 5, top 3 player in the country. He's long, he's athletic, he's got terrific ball skills. And I know a lot of Georgia fans are just waiting for this guy to emerge and be that lockdown cornerback. So I think he's got the potential to push Daniel Harris, and it's going to be tough to keep him on the bench for very long. So this is a guy that I think could emerge as kind of a breakout player on defense. I think the staff needs him to. He's got all the talent. He's an incredibly gifted player. DeMello Jones is too. And those are guys who are, hungry. They're talented. They're ready to play. They don't want to be on the bench. This is their second fall camp. They know what to do. They know the standard. And the talent is easy to see. So if Daniel Harris doesn't keep improving, he's got 2 young dogs right behind him who are ready to take that spot. So who will take and earn that number 2 cornerback position? Will Daniel Harris hold those guys off, or will a guy like Ellis Robinson say, you know what, this is my time, this is my year, that's my position, I'm grabbing it? So we'll see what happens there. Andre Evans is another guy to know. Dom Kelly is a freshman cornerback that we're hearing a lot about, but Ellis Robinson, DeMello Jones, he's going to put pressure on Daniel Harris for that number 2 cornerback spot. What about safety? Right? Dan Jackson, Malachi Starks, the guys that I mentioned, those are safeties that Georgia has to replace. KJ Bolden could be one of the best safeties, not only in the SEC, but maybe across the country next year. But could this be the year that Janelle Aguero continues to step up? Maybe this is his breakout season. This is year 3, I believe, for him. That's when a lot of guys really start to turn it on, know the system, know what they're doing, can react without thinking. But he is a physically gifted player. I think he's going to be in a position to lock down one of the safety spots. Maybe he earns the star position. I think that spot is up for grabs as well. Ja'Cory Thomas is a veteran, experienced guy who has seen the field plenty. He's been out there. He hasn't started. I think this could be the year where he says, you know what, I've been here for a while. This is my time to shine. I'm going to take one of those spots. Adrian Maddox is a kid they brought in from UAB who's made a lot of plays. He's a very experienced player. I think they brought him in for a reason. I think he's going to push for one of those jobs. Zion Branch from USC transferred in with his brother Zach. He's looking to earn some playing time. Jaden Harris transferred in from Miami. So there were several safeties that they brought in, and the coaching staff is basically, they're telling those guys, hey, you want to play, you have to earn it in fall camp. You all have an opportunity to do so. Snaps are up for grabs. Starting positions are up for grabs in the secondary. And there's a lot of guys who have the potential to say, hey, okay, I'm taking it. I'm going to win this job. Kyron Jones is another. I don't want to say he's a veteran, but he's been around a little bit now. He's a tough, hard-hitting guy who can help solidify their run defense in the back end. Todd Robinson is a freshman that I've got really high expectations for. So we'll see who emerge, not only at that number 2 cornerback spot, but at the safety spot. What about the offensive line? We know what should be the starting rotation. Monroe Freeling, left tackle. Micah Morris, left guard. Drew Bobo at center. I think Daniel Calhoun is probably in line to win over that right guard spot, and then Ernest Green at right tackle. So you kind of have an idea of who's going to be starting, but who's the number 2s, right? Marcus Harrison is a big kid from New York that I think they're really high on. Michael Uini is the kid from Texas who's coming into, I believe, his 2nd season. There's a lot of guys. Bo Hewley is, I believe, a 3rd-year tackle who's solid. I think he might be the next tackle up if someone goes down. Juan Gaston, the big incoming freshman, massive kid. Mount Gaston, I think he has the potential to be a multi-year starter at some point. Will he be one of those first guards who come in if something goes down. Jamal Merriweather is a lean kid who could play some tackle. I think he could play some guard as well from Brunswick. I think he's looking to make a name for himself. So there's a lot of young, really talented kids on the offensive line who are hoping to solidify a second string position or maybe a first team job. So, guys get banged up on the offensive line. And we saw that was a big reason why Georgia's offensive line, you could say, took a step back last year. They were kind of mixing and matching. Guys were going down left and right. No one was super healthy all season long. So when you have a position like that in the trenches, guys are going to get banged up. Guys are going to go down. They need to find a solid number 2 at each position group on the line. Guys who could step up that they can insert there, and guys who can know what they're doing. So it'll be interesting to see who those number 2 reserves are on the offensive line. Of course, the quarterback spot, right? Can Ryan Puglisi kind of close the gap a little bit and make things interesting at the quarterback position? Obviously, I think Gunnar Stockton is the guy. Kirby Smart won't come out and say it. He doesn't name starters, but it's safe to say that Gunnar Stockton absolutely has a leg up on the quarterback competition if there really is one. Brought him to SEC Media Days. He's one of the biggest leaders on the team. We saw what he was able to do last year. Wasn't exactly pretty against Notre Dame, but I'm not putting that loss on Gunnar Stockton at all. He showed some flashes of really good quarterback play that people are just completely forgetting. But, he led the SEC championship comeback. The guy is a gritty, tough guy that the entire team rallies around. But Ryan Puglisi is extremely talented with a big fall camp, and if he can impress in fall practices, maybe he makes it to where the staff has to say, you know what, we got to get this guy some packages, get him in there at some point, because I do think he's going to play in the first 2 games against Cupcake number 1 and Cupcake number 2. Got to get Ryan Puglisi in there, but we'll see if he can kind of close the gap on Gunnar Stockton and really make it tough for the staff to come to an easy decision on the quarterback position. But I think he's the solid number 2 right now. But if he keeps progressing and developing and getting better, he is going to make, he's going to put some pressure on Gunnar for sure. He's a very talented kid. We'll see how things go in fall camp. The defensive line, another group that I'm looking at, because there's a lot of talented guys who are coming into their second year of fall camp. Fall camp usually beats up the freshmen, but year 2, guys know what to expect. They know what the standard is. They know that they need to be in position to win the staff over. And there's a lot of guys on the defensive line going into year 2 that really need to make an impact and really need to help this defense. I think Joseph Jonah Ajanye, a guy who played early last season as a freshman before getting hurt, he has a chance to have a breakout sophomore campaign. Jordan Thomas is a big 300-pound interior defensive lineman. He's got potential. Nazir Johnson, 300 pounds on the interior. Nnamdi Agboko, 330-plus pounds on the interior. Those guys need to start stepping up and making a name for themselves in year 2. Georgia's got to do a better job of stopping the run, and they can do that with guys who know what they're doing and, can be those warriors in the trenches to hold their own, fight off blocks, eat space, and make things easier for those talented linebackers behind them. So a lot of guys, Elijah Griffin, continuing to hear more about him. He's the freshman. He's got a lot of guys ahead of him, but the talent is easy to see. It's going to be tough to keep him on the bench. Josh Horton is a guy that transferred in from Miami, was from Georgia. They knew about him as a recruit. He transferred in. He didn't come to Athens to sit on the bench. So there's a lot of guys who have a big opportunity in front of them on the defensive line. So which guys are going to, win, again, the number 2 job and maybe push for a possible starting job? If Kristen Miller, Jordan Hall, Xavier McLeod, those guys need to stay healthy. Those are the veterans, but there's a lot of young talent right behind those guys who are looking to play and make an impact this fall. We'll see who does that. And we'll see which freshmen stand out this fall. Kirby Smart talked about guys needing to get in shape in the spring. There's several freshmen that we're hearing a lot about. Ethan Barbour at tight end. I think it's going to be tough to keep him on the bench very long. He's pushing the tight ends in front of him. He had a really good spring. If he pushes through fall camp like I expect him to, I think we'll see him some. The receivers are getting pushed really hard. The receivers are getting pushed hard by the staff. They want those young, talented pass catchers to start improving more and more. A lot of guys ahead of them on the depth chart, but eventually those guys are going to need to step up. And we'll see if there's any of the defensive backs who catch the staff's eye this fall as well. So fall camp is here. You can smell football in the air a little bit. It's still super hot outside, but this is where the best players emerge. It's in fall camp when things get really, really tough. A lot of guys can't handle it, especially for the younger guys. It is really, really tough, but the leaders, the best players on the roster, this is where they rise to the occasion in fall camp. This is where they lead the rest of the team, and we'll see which guys are ready to make an impact this fall. So just a few position groups that I'm looking at. What are you looking forward to most through fall camp? What players do you want to see emerge? Let me know in the comment section below. Really appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you over on Dawg Post.